All right, you guys ready to go? All right. And I think we got most of the seats filled again. Everybody's back strapped in. Yeah. I was like, we can't not give them a bathroom break when we told them not to leave. Okay. So before we get started today, Linda mentioned that I'm a therapist for most of my career before I started shifting into business coaching. That was not something I saw coming, but I adore it. But because I'm a therapist, it is excruciating to me to talk to an audience without getting feedback. So I will probably ask a lot of questions today, and I may shift what I say depending on your feedback, if that sounds okay for you guys. So feel free to raise your hand with a question. Shout out, I want to know where you are so that I'm teaching something that is going to be helpful and that you can take away from the conference. So my first question is, how comfortable are you with selling? All right, so what we'll do is I'm going to have you stand up. If you would say, so on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being it's excruciating, like it's really hard, and 10 being I like sell all day, every day, I love every second of it, okay? So if you would put yourself between a 1 to a 3, stand up. It's excruciating to I am barely surviving it. And like y'all, thank you, awesome. So truth sets you free, right? You're not gonna be there when we're done. You're not gonna be there anymore. Is that the only one?
Oh, are we starting?
Yes. Okay, so if you would say selling is between a 1 to 3, excruciating to just awful, go ahead and stand up now. Okay, good. That's actually great news, because what we're going to do right now is going to shift that for you. Okay, if you would put yourself at a 4 through 6. Okay, yeah, so 4 to 6, it's like okay, but it's not super comfortable. You wouldn't say you want to do it all the time. Okay, all right. And then if you would say you're a 7 to 10, I freaking love sales. Okay. Okay.
I want to get the clothes now.
Okay, so that's important information. So you love selling, but you're a little uncomfortable with the clothes. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, good. So, and for some people, you have to give it another word in order to be comfortable with it, because selling has been slimy. We'll talk about that a little bit, and I will try not to go too far on a soapbox tangent around it. But the next question is, and this will just be a yes or a no, are you making sales and money at the pace that you want to? Stand up if it's yes. Okay. All right, this is gonna be good. Okay, all right. And last question is selling or sharing, was it Vera? Is selling or sharing a joyful experience where you feel like you connected and loved well? Okay, so you guys know who you need to talk to after this if you have a few questions following up. Funny, you're on the front row. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history. I was trained as a therapist. I'm a sexual abuse survivor, grew up in a really fundamentalist religion, and I was a disaster. And so a lot of my journey was these identity pieces you've heard the women talk about. And they went first because it's really pointless to talk about selling unless you have those pieces in place. I cannot say how important it is. And so you're going to resonate with different people who have been up here because we're all really different. We actually joke that with this string of pearls, we have been the sand in each other's oyster. And we have learned to love each other well and honor our differences, and that needs to happen in Alovea, right? Because each of you bring a different facet, and when you do your healing, when you take that path of what Shauna was talking about to heal and grow, I cannot say to you how blissful and holy it is. I love these women, and it's not because we're always perfect with each other. We could tell you stories, maybe at lunchtime. Okay, so I was a therapist from the first half of my career, and I felt a calling towards what I'm doing now. Didn't even have words for it. Wasn't sure what it was, but I was fascinated with sales and marketing. And we were probably, my husband and I are probably, he disagrees with me. I counted it up, and we are close to 6 figures in to me investing in learning, sales and marketing. It would have been cheaper to get a doctorate. He thinks it's around 50,000, but he's wrong. And so I got really fascinated with this, and what I have noticed in my clients, what I noticed in my own journey is that especially with a company like this, you joined Alovea because the mission called to you, right? And I've heard stories of some of you saying, I didn't really want to do this, but here I am. The mission called to you, it matters. You're doing it for your families, you're doing it for your health. You're here for purpose. You're not here to get rich, right? And so sometimes we get a little cringy and uncomfortable with the sale, right? That's how do we figure that part out? So what I am teaching today, and it's funny, Shauna was talking about the stir that comes up getting ready for something. I've never taught this material publicly before. And I was struggling a little bit with discomfort. I had a completely different talk planned, and that got hijacked. So this message, I feel, is direct from God, and I argued with him a bit about it because I was uncomfortable. And here's why, you guys. I am teaching directly opposed to just about every sales method you've been taught. Okay, I'm in the right place. Okay, and so part of my journey, part of my choosing healing and skills and all of those things is to show up boldly with what finally worked. Okay, and the beauty about it is that we're going to teach you how to do it in a way that it lines up with your head, your heart, and your gut, so you can do it fully without doubts. Okay, sound good? Okay, so a little bit more context. Somebody's calling me. Okay, it's off. The ringer's off. Okay, if you intend to use sales at any point, but I believe especially in this company, so this is the spiritual piece that I feel like God dropped specifically for this conference for you. Sam and Linda, you can talk with them about this. Sam and Linda have gotten messages over and over in the last months, I don't know when it started, that God is doing something new, right? And as I was preparing for this and I was a little bit insecure with the message and wrestling with that a little bit, I was waffling and double-minded, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I was asking God, I need you to confirm because I feel like I'm going out on a limb. I'm a little nervous. I just need to know that you really want me, because my other talk was pretty good. Yeah, I was really excited about it, yeah. The same morning that I was talking to God and asking him to speak about this, I saw a woman on Facebook that I didn't recall ever becoming friends with her, but I saw a post and she was going live and she was sharing, she's a business coach, and she was sharing about how she had been praying and she felt like God left a message for people building a kingdom business. And she said, you need to know that God is doing new things. Old techniques aren't going to work anymore. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, it's one of those things when somebody says something and you're like, did she just like read my journal? They're not going to work anymore. And I am curious, how long have you guys been in Alivea or direct sales? Long time? Okay. A few months, okay. Well, good, you're getting on the front end. But I am really curious, are you finding as a group that maybe some of the things that you used to do aren't working? It's a little harder to sell? Okay. Yeah, so God's confirming through you guys. All right, so what we're teaching today is new wine. I believe, so if you guys don't know that reference, in Bible times when they put new wine in old wineskins, the new wine would bust open the wineskins. And you don't want to lose the wine, y'all. So it's new, and you don't have to agree with me, but I do challenge you to try this. I think it will be life-changing for your businesses. All righty, ready to go? Okay, so Isaiah 43:19, this was also what she quoted. Listen carefully, I'm about to do a new thing. Now it will spring forth, will you not be aware of it? I will even put a road in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. I don't care how impossible it feels like right now. I don't care what's going on in the company. I don't care because, and I'm speaking from our little group, sometimes we annoy the snot out of each other. There's going to probably people in this room who have annoyed you. All those triggers, all those chances for change and identity and growth that you've heard about this morning, I don't care about any of it. If you want to be a part of what God will do, because you guys know Sam and Linda, you know what follows them and their level of surrender. I encourage you to do that work and stay with this company because you're going to see amazing things. So that's the new wine. So to start with, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. And I want you to think back over your life until you find a moment, or maybe several, maybe you've been blessed to have several, that felt sacred to you. I don't care if you're a believer. A moment of awe, those moments where you want to cry and laugh at the same time. Set apart, special. And I want you to think about it in enough detail that you can see it, you can feel what you felt, maybe what you touched, maybe there was a smell, maybe you heard something. I was going to tell you to raise your hand when you've got it, but I can see it on your faces when you get it. And take a minute to just enjoy that. This is just a little freebie, but God's plan is for you to live in that place always. But when you've got it, go ahead and open your eyes, and I would like to hear, just briefly from a couple of you, what did that moment do for your life that you were thinking of? Anybody want to share? Okay.
My moment was just 6 months ago when I was in the room when my granddaughter was born, and just hearing at home and my daughter saying, in her deepest pain,
Mm-hmm.
what comes out of the heart. And she was saying, and she had been in labor for 86 hours. And
Wow.
she was saying, baby, I welcome you. God's waiting for you. God, thank you for this baby. Baby, we're waiting for you. Baby, we're so excited for you. And she was never negative or in her pain. So I could see her heart, what was coming out of her heart in her most vulnerable, painful moment in her life. And so as a mom, standing and witnessing that, just hearing the words of
Holy cow. I could have probably used her help during my delivery. And so that was your sacred moment, but I felt it. Like I could cry over that, right? Okay, one more sacred moment. Okay.
It was when I had my first child. The joy, the peace, when he came out, my first words were, because I didn't know first baby was born with such a cool head. I said, "Oh God, what's wrong?" And right away I was comforted. It's okay, it's okay. By the end of the day, it will be round again.
Oh, right, yeah. It had to go through a narrow tunnel. Awesome. Okay. So when I gave you very little description, but you guys were able to go to that place quickly. And here is my belief, that selling is sacred. And we kind of lose that message sometimes because it has been hijacked. Here's a question. Have you ever been a part of a sales conversation that felt sacred? And you can raise your hand for that one. Okay, a few. Oh, that's hopeful. All right. Because a lot of times, because of what is taught generally around how to sell, and I know you guys are not taught that in this company. So I'm probably preaching to the choir a little bit today, but we're gonna, and I will tell you, I don't want to just share this with you. I want you to experience it. So at the end, I'm gonna need a couple of volunteers, and you guys are gonna coach them through. I'll walk you all through that, but we're gonna make this interactive because I want, when we experience it, that's when the know that we know that we know starts to fall into place. So that's my plan for you to walk away from today. So the problem, though, with sales has been sacred is not usually the first thing that comes to mind. One of the more derogatory terms we have in our culture is used car salesman, right? And we know exactly what that means. And nobody wants to be that. So it leaves us with a little bit of a dilemma. We want to have the impact. We want to have lives changed by the product. We want to see people healed, but we don't want to sell because selling is yuck. Not for everybody. We had a few here. So, how many of you do feel even a little bit cringy when you're getting ready to talk to somebody about the product? Yeah, okay. So, that is what I would call double-minded. You really want to sell, and you really don't want to sell, okay? And we'll see if we can clear this up for you today, or at least start the journey for you. It's because it's a pickle. And I'm gonna read from James 1, and it's a passage of scripture in the Bible that for most of my life, it's pissed me off, just to be quite frank. And the girls are not shocked to hear me say that. So let me read this. It's James 1, and I forget which verse I stopped, but you can look it up later if you're wanting to dig in. But let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work, so that you may be people perfectly and fully developed, with no defects, lacking in nothing. So here's a question. What would happen for your business if you were fully developed with no defects and lacking nothing? Okay, and here's the great news. You are. And like Kathy talked about with those lies, you just have to believe it. And to do that, we need to deal with our double-mindedness around our businesses. So we'll keep going. If any of you is deficient in wisdom, let him ask of the giving God, who gives to everyone liberally and ungrudgingly, without reproaching or fault finding, and it will be given to him. Only it must be in faith that he asks with no wavering. This is the part that made me mad. No hesitating, no doubting. For the one who wavers is like the billowing surge out at sea that is blown hither and thither. That was actually in the Bible. Hither and thither, and tossed by the wind. For truly, let not such a person imagine that he will receive anything he asks for from the Lord. For being as he is a man of two minds, hesitating, dubious, irresolute. He is unstable and unreliable and uncertain about everything he thinks, feels, and decides. So part of the reason this made me so mad was because this was me. I did really well in school. Things came easily to me. I did well in my career as a therapist. I was climbing the ladder to be a CEO. And when I felt called into entrepreneurship, it kind of like the wheels came off the bus. It has been the hardest thing I've ever done. And maybe you guys are catching on faster than I did, but this is hard. You're going to face mindset stuff. You know, in fact, somebody told me if you want to heal, start a business because it'll trigger every issue you have. All right? So, the language is pretty blunt. And I thought, man, well, what do I do if I doubt? I doubt all the time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. But I believe it's blunt because it's vital to understand. Your success is on the other side of this issue. So you don't have to raise your hand, but you can if you want to kind of throw me a bone. Anybody else here struggle with doubts? Going back and forth, right? And so, but the cool thing is that you can deal with those suckers. And probably my friends would tell you they see something different in me today. Yeah. And because I literally, a month ago, had to go take myself on a little retreat because I realized I was having some double-mindedness. And I dug in and I dealt with my doubts, and I feel different today. It would have been a different Noelle talking to you if I hadn't taken the time to deal with those doubts. Because here's the thing. If you're double-minded about anything, we're talking about sales and business today. We're talking about Alivea. But if you're double-minded about anything in your life, your marriage, your kids, you aren't going to get what you want. You will not. This is vital. And this is part of the new thing that God's doing, because look, if you are a company that deals with your doubts, if you're double-minded about someone in this room that you have to work with, if you find yourself annoyed, if you want to just claw their eyes out, when you deal with that double-mindedness, your success is on the other side of it. You're healing. This company is ready to explode on the other side of it. All right. When we're double-minded, this was when I was kind of working this through with God at my little retreat. The image that came to me was I'm driving my car with my foot on the brake and the gas. So I'm working my butt off, and the gas is on, and eventually the car's going to blow up. All right? You don't want to do that. Okay. So I'm not going to teach you, we're going to do the exercise pretty quick before I teach you any of the principles. And I'm doing that on purpose because I want the whole room to be able to wrestle through that. All right? So, but I am going to talk a little bit about what traditional sales training taught you, and I'm curious if maybe you got better training than I did. But one of the first principles is what? Create urgency, right? And you will find people lie to create urgency. Look, if somebody needs Alivea, they're in desperate enough pain. You don't need to create urgency.
Say it again.
All right. The next one that's usually taught, these are basic premises of business and selling. Utilize scarcity. Yeah, we're about to run out. Now, it may be true. You might be able to, depending on your product. But a good example of this has happened to me several times. When you hear people saying, this is an intimate setting and we only have space for 30 people. And if you're an introvert like me, you sign up for those sorts of things, and you get there, and there's 1,000 people there, right? They lied to get you to come to utilize scarcity. And do you trust them any longer when they do that? No, right? So activate FOMO. I heard it on the front row. People are taught to intentionally make you fearful of what will happen if you don't buy the product or use their service. The next one is agitate the pain. Like, guys, Christian copywriting books say agitate the pain. And this, like, I try to keep my mouth clean most of the time. My son is in the room. But that makes me want to curse. That we would agitate pain, we would try to manipulate people to get them to do something. You see this a lot in online marketing too, and I have heard that you guys are going to be learning some about that. Really, the only thing you have to do, this is one of my mentors said this, the only thing you have to really do to stand out in a crowded market right now is tell the truth, because most people aren't. So, have you heard these concepts before? Was this in your training, or was it just me? Yeah, okay. So, to bring it back from the context at the beginning in that prophetic word that I got from that lady, these methods did work. People who have used them have made a lot of money. They are not going to anymore. And people will probably hang out and try for a while, but listen, you have found yourself, by being in Alavea, you have found yourself in a consecrated company. And they will not work here. But that's the great news. You don't have to do it like that. You don't have to do it like that. So, but do you see where that double-mindedness, if you're taught this and you want to do sales, but you really want to help people, it's been a tough place. And so my hope, and I would love for you to find me throughout the weekend and tell me if you feel this shifting, what we do here. But I want you to think of a person. You can think, if you're a believer, think about God in this example. And if you're not a believer, think of somebody who has really had an impact on your life and has believed in you. Have they ever agitated your pain to try to get you to do something they wanted you to do? Have they ever tried to make you feel afraid on purpose? I call that abuse. All right? So, here we're pausing here because what I want you to do, we're gonna get our 2 volunteers and we're gonna set up a scenario of selling. And one of you, I need to be a little difficult. You're not sure about this Alavea stuff. And one of you is going to be doing the selling, but you're not going to be in on it on your own because and Gail's going to teach you more about this after lunch, but we're throwing you into the deep end. You're entrepreneurs, you can take it. What I want you to do in the audience is, as we walk through this scenario, I'm going to pause them and I'm going to ask you to check in with your gut and what questions, what responses would be sacred. All right? So we're going to actually walk through a scenario, and these are always fun because we never know what's going to happen. So can I get 2 volunteers? All right. Was it Heidi? Was that your name? And Max? Oh, we have 3 volunteers. Whoever gets up here first, 2 people, we'll just go with that. All right. Okay. Okay, you got to get in the middle so the camera gets you. Are we in the camera? Okay, this is going to be great. Okay, so let's see. You voluntold Max that she's going to be difficult. Okay. Okay. All right, so do you have a scenario in your head that you could kind of run with?
Sure.
Okay, and what do you think? Do you guys know each other already? Are you friends approaching or a cold sale?
Cold sale.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Like we're doing the thing, guys. We're doing the thing. Okay. All right. So what we'll do, I'll just direct. I want you to start the scenario and I'll pause at various times and we'll get the feedback. You guys stay in your gut. Okay? We don't need all that crap you've been taught. Okay?
I'm going to be extra calm.
Okay. All right. So whenever you're ready.
You look like you're into your health and wellness. Yeah. Come over here. Yeah, see what we have. You're gonna love this. Absolutely love this. So first, I have to tell you, I'm a Christian woman, and we support children's immune systems throughout the world through a nonprofit that owns us, Manna Relief. You see love in the middle of our name. Oh, okay. Yeah. Alabama. So we send this powder, and it optimizes their immune system, and their little immune systems heal their body, and they get healthy, and they have a better quality of life. So what do you do for your immune system?
No, you want me to tell you something? I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't really trust police or anything. So you say you send.
Okay, talk loud though so they can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, I don't really trust people very much. You say you send things to children?
Yeah, we send a powder. That's kind of a joke in our company. We send
Yeah?
kilos of white powder to children. So who's got the book here? Because I usually have a book.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So here his.
Oh,
Okay.
I just bought a book.
Oh, perfect. I knew you did.
Now I'm screaming. I don't need a microphone.
As difficult as you are, you
Yeah, yes.
So this
Oh.
is $200 million of the research and development.
Uh-huh. Wait, the book costs that much?
No.
No.
I can sell the book right now to you for $30. I don't want to charge shipping or tax or anything. Well,
I
hey,
don't
let's-
know.
You wanted to know-
$30?
Yeah.
You know what? I just bought a steak, so I think I don't want to spend any more money today.
So anyway, this is extracted. This molecule is extracted from the aloe gel inside. No leaf, none of the other stuff that's
Yeah.
in it. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
Ace Mannin. That's the.
Max, shut her down hard.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I like aloe vera, actually. I actually have plants in my house.
Yeah, and that doesn't
So,
do
yeah, I
the same
already-
thing.
What do you mean?
You have to have the extraction of the specific molecule from the gel. Your aloe plant is great for your wound healing on the outside.
Yeah, I've used aloe vera for years.
You're doing so good. I haven't had a chance to do any feedback, so we're just going to pause. Heidi is clearly comfortable with sales. Can you guys still hear me? Yes. Okay. So close eyes. Here's the other
Can I also give advice?
Yes.
Close eyes. Here's the thing. Shine in your design. You're not going to do it like Heidi. Get clear on something you can say that feels awesome, pure, in alignment with who you are. And then we'll have a few of you share some perspectives.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I really like this whole child thing, but I don't really understand what this has to do with me.
Okay, pause. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, anybody got something yet?
Bats, use the mic. We cannot hear you over here.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I said, I really like this child part, but I don't understand what it has to do with me. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear her?
I mean, she started talking about her physique and saying that she's an athlete. And acknowledging that, I would have progressed and asked, what do you do as an athlete? What supplements do you take? How's your health? How's your recovery?
How are my injuries?
And, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well done. And that is a principle of sacred selling. It ain't about you. It's about them. And paying attention to where they are allows you to go where they need to go. And see if Alameda is a good support. Okay, another idea. Who else had something come to mind?
She said, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I would have said, really? Tell me about that. What does that mean?
So you think they put crap in our food too?
She's super passionate. You got two super passionate people going head to head. It's gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be a relationship. Heidi, find out, like, hey, so what does that mean to you? How did you get there? And hear her story.
Perfect. Well done. start right at 11:30. Okay, so I'm almost out of time. So,
Quick selling.
Okay, quick. Yeah. So are you using any plant-based supplements in your regimen?
I use some vitamins, but I mostly just eat food, actually.
So did you ever consider supplementing or filling the gap between what you're eating and maybe some plant-based nutrients to fill that gap?
Yeah, like I told you, I already use aloe vera, and it's great. I have the plants in my house.
Yeah. So the specific molecule that you're getting is not this one, and it's infused in all these products we have here. So do you use a branched chain amino acid and hydration drink at all?
No, I don't. I only use lysine. I don't use anything that is flavored or has more than one ingredient.
Okay, so this is just plant-based. It's all natural. It doesn't have any in synthetics, no artificial coloring. It's we have professional athletes actually using our fuel that has branched chain amino acids, your electrolytes, turmeric, and some aloe, or the ACE mannan molecule that is a antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. So it'll help with your gut issues if you have any.
Oh, you know what? My stomach actually hurts a little bit. But I don't know if I trust you very much, though. How do I know that you're being honest?
So let me get. So do you like to do research?
Yeah, give me everything.
Awesome. So I'll get your email and your phone number, and I will send you all the research you want on brain and gut health and from ACE Man, and how much do you want? And I open up my phone. Boards? You all have boards? Yeah. And so I'll open up my phone and I'll say, how much do you want? What do you want it on? Autoimmune, brain and gut?
Oh, and true story. I'll get back to you in 3 months when I read everything, and then I'll buy it all.
No.
That is a true story.
thank you to our volunteers. Okay, I could go on all day with that. Thank you, that was fantastic. All right, so some things, I'm going to kind of rush through the end because I don't want to, you got some good stuff and everybody's probably hungry now. Close your eyes again. What did you notice? What you noticed is going to be different than the person next to you, and they're both right. That thumbprint. How did you feel internally? And we don't have time to go into all of that today because selling is a skill. And as you do it and as you lean into developing that skill, it becomes more, there's more ease and more joy in it. But start with where you were today, watching that. And I'm going to close with some principles. These are principles because I was thinking about everybody likes a 5-step thing, right? These are principles that work according to your design. It's first and foremost built on relationships and care for them as a person. You don't consider a sale before you consider the good of a person. Ever. And those of you who are believers, you know you have somebody on your side who has all the resources in the world. You don't need that sale. God's got you. You are just partnered to find out if that person needs that product. There is never, under any circumstance, manipulation. It's honest. You can even say, gosh, I feel really awkward right now. I don't know how to connect, but I really feel like this could be life-changing for you if you would like hang in there with me a second, right? It's honest. You don't agitate fear. You offer hope. You are helping them get where they need to go, where they're called to go. Because God has abundant life planned for them, and feeling crappy physically is not part of his plan. And you do it in a way that honors who and how God designed you to be. I worked a lot of years to try to do these big online launches and bring in hundreds of sales. I'm an introvert. I don't want to deal with hundreds of people at the same time. You know what shifted? When I get one-on-one with people and share my heart and listen to theirs. Very rarely does anybody walk away from a sales conversation not wanting to work with me. And that's not because I'm so fabulous. That is because I got clear on who I am and how I help. And I don't even get on the call with them until I know that I can help them. All right, you trust God for the resources and are able to stay detached about whether they say yes or no. And you ask for permission to share your solution. Like, be respectful. Some people are not in a place. But if you stay in touch with them and you offer care for them, this is where we talk about, we could get in the skill stuff about CRMs and following up. I can't tell you how many hundreds of people try to sell me on Facebook. And none of them, when I say no, I never hear from them again. But the ones that I get to know, guess who I buy from? Okay? Care for people and don't disappear when they say no. And you have to be intentional about that to remember, because it gets kind of crazy. So those are some principles, and I'm going to wrap up now. Being the introvert that I am, I would love to hear more of your stories. I would love to stay in contact. If this is something you'd like to learn more about and get some skills around, you can pull out your cell phone right now and you can text LOVE to 33777. And that will allow you to sign up for our email list. I don't email a ton. I'm super active on Facebook. 33777, and just text the word love. And all my years of trying to learn technology have culminated in the fact that you will actually get to sign up for the email list. And it took me a year to figure out how to do a webinar. I'm not kidding, and there were 2 people on it who already used the product. Kathy and Gail. Okay, good. Oh, good, you're doing it. Good. Okay. You can sign up for the email if that's all you want. You'll be on the email, and you will be on an Allovale list, so I will know that I met you here or talked with you here. And then if you want information about our programs, they're not cheap. If you're just starting out and you're not even sure you're going to do this, I wouldn't recommend the information about the program. I know the level of care I pour into you, and I follow people as long as they stay. Like, there's no limit to our program. 5,000. Okay. Well, maybe we need to talk. All right. So I would love to talk with you. I'll be here the rest of the weekend. I would love to talk with you and pray with you. But whenever you are at a loss, if it doesn't feel sacred, take a moment. That holy place, sales can be joyful.